Did you hear?
What's the opening? I
Uh,
can hear you singing, but I don't know what the
yeah,
music
I
was.
was like, hey, there's something sweet and almost kind,
Oh, like with a beat,
of course, and unwritten.
like the house version,
Mm.
like Disney Night at the Gay Club.
Shut up. Yeah.
It's every night at the Gay Club.
For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life wherever I wander.
All right, hey everyone, my name is Tyler,
And I'm Carly.
and welcome to our first episode of hopefully, of discussions.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about Beauty and the Beast. We're going to discuss like the animated movie, the live action movie, everything that Disney's done with Beauty and the Beast, like to the parks, the sequels, the soundtracks, Broadway, etc. Carly, do you want to give a little off the cuff opening?
Sure. So if you haven't seen Beauty and the Beast, just kind of don't even watch us yet. Go watch it. Belle is both Tyler and I's favorite princess. That's why we chose to do Beauty and the Beast first. And if you haven't seen it and don't really want to watch it right now, or you don't really have the time, just a quick summary. It is obviously about this beautiful girl named Belle, kind of an outsider in her town. And in attempt to save her father, who has been captured by this beast, she switches places with him. So now she's captured. They end up falling in love, and turns out that the beast is a prince. And as far as we know, they live happily ever after.
Stroke of
Beautiful
luck for
story.
her. Stroke of luck for her. I'm also excited to say that we have a celebrity guest. Brought
Oh
him
my
from
God,
the cast.
Kit from the
Yes, he came
castle.
to join, and he also is serving me a beverage inside.
Cute.
So, first things first, I think we should just start with the animated movie because that's what came first. So, start there. Um, Personal connections to animated movie. Do you have any? I have a bunch. That was like, as a kid, that was my movie. Like, I would draw up the characters on paper and like cut them out and use them as toys with like a drawing of a castle and like reenact the movie, literally.
Stop. That's so cute.
hmm
I
On,
honestly,
on a slightly creepy note, I had a black and white. I don't know if this is a deep cut, but I don't know if people know this. You used to be able to like get, the vacation planning VHSs that you used to be able to get. You used to be able to request like character photos with them, and my mom did a Belle character photo request, and like they had been signed, and I'm sure it was some like college program kid in an office somewhere who was just writing the character signatures. But it was a black and white picture of Belle, and I hung it in my closet, and that was my like first crush. Like I was obsessed. It was like an 8x10. So Beauty and the Beast goes like way back for me.
with me, I think Belle was just always my favorite one because I have long brown hair and my favorite color is yellow. And
Mhm.
that's it for a 3-year-old girl. Like that's
True,
all you
true,
need.
true. My favorite color was blue, so that was why I liked her blue dress better than the color dress.
hmm No, and also in high school I just read a lot. So the fact that she read that was it for me.
I read a lot as a kid, but that I liked her as a kid for that. But then I quit reading and I just started watching movies. And we don't have a princess that's like obsessed with movies, so
Not yet.
Belle's like not yet, not yet. Um, okay, cast of that movie. Just to name off a few: Paige O'Hara did Belle, who in our CP. Do you remember
I
then
was
she
about to
was
say,
at
Tyler, do you
Epcot?
remember during our college program when we were in Disney World, how Pedro O'Hara was just
Mhm.
there and both
Just
of us
chilling.
flipped out, and it was like our first time hanging out together too, and we were with like our other friends, your
As
roommate,
quick. Hmm.
and so like we didn't even really know each other, and all of a sudden we just like see Paige O'Hara and we're just like, do you know who that is? I know who that is.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I remember that there was like one video, and I have it. Someone in the CP got a video, a CP meaning college program, got a video of the person who was friends with Belle that day going to meet Paige O'Hara, and they like hugged each other, and they took this cute little picture. It was like my favorite thing ever, and I still have that video. Like, it's a little boost of what is it, serotonin? It's
Hmm.
like a little boost for me because I'm just like, I mean, technically she saw me, so like she knows that I exist. But you had to like buy her art to get an autograph, and I was not Mickey Mouse did not put me in a financial place to buy that art. I'll say that.
It was her art.
Yeah, it was her art, but I mean,
Art
like, let's say
died.
that she's a better voice actor than a painter. Anyways, um, Bobby Vincent is the Beast. I don't even know. I don't know who Bobby Vincent is, to be fair.
Me either.
Okay. Angela Lansbury is Mrs. Potts, obviously
Yeah.
iconic. Um, Jerry Orbach is Lumiere. David Ogden-Stiers is Cogsworth. I don't know this. I don't know them either. I know them just for that. So that's like your main cast right there. That's all. That's all I wrote down at least. Unless there's some big celebrity that I missed. Like I don't know who voices Maurice, but or Gaston. I should have wrote that one down. Anyways, moving on. Staying on the animated movie, I wrote down a few things that were like little bullet points about the movie. First of all, Walt Disney attempted to make it like way back when he was alive. So, like from what I understand, they attempted to make it, but the original fairy tale, which we'll discuss a little bit later, it was just like really hard to adapt because from what I understand, it's just like she goes to dinner with the beast every night, and then he asks to marry her, and she says no, and that just keeps happening over and over again. So he couldn't figure out how to make that interesting, so they shelved it. And it's actually they literally went to those files and like pulled them off the shelf, and that's how they started making this movie. So that's like Walt Disney kind of had a hand in it, which is kind of cool. Do you have anything interesting for this movie, or should I keep
Um,
rattling off?
Before I even say it, I let me check my facts, but I want to say it's one of the first Disney movies to win an Oscar.
Um, I don't know if it's no, it's not the first to win, but it is.
It's one of the first.
I think I know what fact you're looking for.
There it is. It won two Oscars. It won so Beauty and the Beast won an Oscar for Best Music and Best Original Song.
Hmm.
Best Original Score, and it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Sound, Best Original Song, and just okay. And then Best Music. Oh, I see. It's because it was
Yeah.
for multiple songs. So it won for Best Music
Hmm.
Original Song for the song Beauty and the Beast. And then it was also nominated for Best Music, Best Original Song for Be Our Guest.
So, fun fact about what you said, I think you missed it. Um, it was nominated for Best Picture. If I'm not mistaken, Beauty and the Beast is the first animated movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture. And since then, there's only been like three. It was Beauty and the Beast. I
Shrek.
want to say Toy Story 3. What was the other one?
Shrek.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think it was Shrek. And then there hasn't been any since then. I thought Frozen was going to get it, and Frozen did not get it. I really think that it deserved that nomination. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Um, let's see what else did I write down about this one. Back whenever they
Gosh,
first like
Shrek.
pulled,
Shrek was only nominated for Best Animated Feature.
look it up and see what was nominated. Animated movies. Oh, it was Up. It was Up. Fact check me. I'm pretty sure it's Beauty and the Beast, Up, and Toy Story 3. And Up did not deserve that. Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, right. You hate Up. And I don't
Hmm.
understand.
Hmm.
I love Up. So only three animated films have ever been nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Beauty and the Beast was the first one, Up, and Toy Story 3. Tyler, look at you knowing your facts.
Listen, I am the kind of person that watches the Oscars every year, so
Good.
I've kind of kept up to date with those.
None of them
But
won.
anyways, when they
None of them won, though.
no, I know, which is so stupid. I feel like Beauty and the Beast definitely could have. I don't know what won that year. See what won that year. Look that up. I think it's 91, 92.
Out in 91.
Yeah, so whatever won the 91 Best Picture. I feel like it was a Tom Hanks movie. I don't know why I feel like that.
Another movie, probably. I mean, Tom Hanks, it was the 90s, so.
True. I don't know what came out that year though. When did Forrest Gump come out? It might have been then.
Oh, Forrest Gump came out in like 89, something like that.
That's close. Does it say what one?
Hold on, I'm getting it.
Well, while you're finding that, I'm gonna do this real quick. So basically, whenever they first pulled this off the shelf from when Walt Disney did it, they cut the movie. They brought in like a director, the animators, blah blah blah, and they did like a 20-minute cut of the opening of the movie. It had no music. It was super dark, super serious, and it focused on like the royal part of France and not like the townsfolk of France. And basically, they took it to Disney, and Disney watched it and said, "We're throwing all of this away, and you're going to restart." So they like fired the director. They brought in songwriters. They brought in a new director. I don't know. I'm not sure it was the same animators because they only have one animating team, and they totally tossed all that out. But you can still find it on like YouTube. It's just like storyboards. But Disney like hated it. They hated what they saw. So
So I
that's
found it.
interesting. What one?
So it's the 1992 Oscars. The
Mhm.
nominees were The Prince of Tides, JFK, Bugsy, Beauty and the Beast, and Silence of the Lambs. Out of all of those,
Silence of the Lambs.
which one do you think won?
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you said it, I knew it. And that's not even that good of a movie either, to be honest. I would have given it to Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, before we even move on, for music with the best original song, Beauty and the Beast had 3 nominations
Hmm.
out of the 5 nominations for best original song at the Oscars.
And they could have had all 5.
Beauty and the Beast, which was the one that won, Be Our
Yeah.
Guest, and Belle, which I think should have won because
I would have given it to Belle. Yeah.
I would have given it to Belle. And then they had a song from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and then they had When You're Alone from the movie Hook.
You know, I haven't seen that in so long. We'll have to add that in, like when we do a Peter Pan episode, we'll add that into it.
I'm ready for Peter Pan.
Okay, I'm ready too. Which, not to get off topic, but like the 2003 movie,
With Jeremy
the
Sumpter.
live action. I think so. Yeah. Amazing. Right.
Don't talk to me about Peter Pan. I know
Okay.
about
Okay. Okay. That's another episode. That's another episode. So a few other things from this movie. I gotta stop talking so fast. This is when Alan Menken first, not when he first, but this is his like second movie for music. And if you don't know who he is, he did like the Little Mermaid soundtrack, Beauty and the Beast soundtrack, Hunchback. He might not have done Hunchback, Hercules. He did like all of those like iconic 90s soundtracks. Yeah. He was behind all that. And then Howard Ashman came in to direct, and Howard Ashman was actually dying during production. That takes a really bad turn, but he was dying during production because he had AIDS. And literally he not completed, but he mostly completed the movie and worked really hard on it, and he did not get to watch it. So he is credited as director, but he never got to actually watch the movie. So that's pretty sad. But anyways, moving on.
Let's try to compare it to the live action.
The live action. Wait, I have one more thing to point out. So when they were animating it, I learned all this from this behind the scenes documentary that I watched about it. They specifically tied in Wizard of Oz references, and if you know me, you know that I'm going to point out anything Wizard of Oz themed. And that is that number one, Belle was the only character in blue in the town, which is to like make her different. And they specifically chose that because of Dorothy. They like designed her to look like Dorothy, and you can actually tell. Like she's got like the blue and white, she's got like the brown hair. Yeah, so like you can tell that she's designed to look like her. And then in the scene when the Beast is getting ready for the ballroom scene, and they're like doing his hair in the mirror, there's one point where they like do his hair like all curly and like put a little bow on top of his head and stuff. And that is a reference to the lion. You cut out, what'd you say?
I was like, Toto? And then I was like, no,
No. It's like he looks
fine.
just like the lion, and he's like, I feel stupid. Yeah, he looks just like the lion in that. So those are like specifically Oz references, and I'm sure that I'm gonna point out more of those in the future because the Wizard of Oz is referenced in like everything.
Let's take a break because I don't have all my shit together yet.
Literally. I'm probably gonna cut that into right there, and then we'll take a break. I'm gonna cut that part out. But okay, and we're back.
So we're back from the break. I had to get my nice little villains book because I love it. I haven't gotten the chance to like fully read through it yet, but I've read a few of them. And I opened up to Gaston's page, and it shows just like really fun designs. So this was the original concept art for Gaston, which I think talks more to the historical aspect that Tyler was talking about earlier. With this is probably more of a period piece that he would have been wearing in France at that time for the kind of manly man he is supposed to be. And so Beauty and the Beast, it also tells me all of these fun facts. Beauty and the Beast was released on November 22nd, 1991 with Richard White is the voice talent of Gaston. And let me read you his little biography because it's only a few sentences.
That's fine.
So, no one loves Gaston more than Gaston. He knows he is good looking and that many women adore him. So he just can't comprehend how Belle could not want him. It just goes to show we always want what we cannot have. Animator Andres Deha struggled with the character, wanting to make him a bit more caricature of a completely self-adoring Romeo. But Jeffrey Katzenberg, who then presided over Walt Disney Feature Animations, explained to him that he had to go in a different direction. I know it's more fun to animate the villain in broad, evil strokes, but when we're trying to convey the important message of don't judge a book by its cover, reference to the movie of Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover with the Beast, you got the girl in the middle, and she has to make a difficult choice between the two heroes. So it essentially, he had to make him a little more, he had to use softer lines instead of the super hard, evil, thick lines that they would normally use to redeem Gaston's more attractive qualities to women, because no one's going to be attracted to the evil looking dude.
Yeah, well, I think that's actually interesting to me because as a kid, I didn't fully get that Gaston was evil because he actually doesn't really look like the villain until the end. But he doesn't really look like, he looks like kind of a silly side character almost, but kind of like how Hans looks in Frozen. Like he doesn't really look evil, but when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, like he's evil.
Gaston looks like he's a former frat boy that still talks about the parties as his glory days.
Former frat boy. That's like that is the stereotype that they go with when they're looking for friends of Gaston in Disney World. But that's another conversation.
Friends of Gaston.
Yeah, his friends are very, very much frat boys, former frat boys. I wrote down like a couple more little Easter eggs about Beauty and the Beast, the animated movie, which I had looked over just now. Before Gaston dies, they couldn't like show him dying, obviously. So when he falls,
skulls in the people's
the little skulls in his eyes. Yeah, I never knew that until I saw that online somewhere.
It's one of those like, very fast. You have to pause it at the precise moment. Another fun fact: they also do that for Clayton right before he.
I was thinking they did it for someone else. I was thinking they did it for Scar, so they did it for him too. But I remember now that you say that, Clayton for sure. Clayton and Gaston are really similar.
More or less. Well, you've seen the fan theory where people think that that Belle is like the great great grandmother of Jane Porter, who is my old. That
should be a whole section in this. Yeah, that should be a whole section in this because then there's also the theory that this is going to go really deep. We should do an episode on theories because there's like that Tarzan is the sibling of Anna and Elsa.
Yeah, I don't like that one as much.
I like that one because if you think about it, their parents went off on that ship. They crashed. We don't know what happened to them. Well, the sequel kind of ruins that theory, though, doesn't it? Frozen 2, because then you do see that they actually died in the water.
I also don't like it just because I've actually read the original Tarzan of the Apes book. and it explains like the whole background of the parents.
I mean, yeah, but the Disney stuff is different because like the original Ice Queen fairy tale is totally different than Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
A Frozen episode will be good too. Okay, we got to stop talking about other episodes we can do because we're gonna just keep going on and on. And then like the last thing I've got for the animated movie is the opening scene as a reference to Sound of Music because they were kind of going for that vibe with Belle. They were going for like a Broadway show as an animated movie, which is why I like it so much. And then this is from Hunchback because I also love Hunchback, but Belle also appears in Hunchback for like a brief second, like walking through town reading a book. So that's like my little, because they're both in France. I mean, it would make sense, but I don't think that she's anywhere near Paris. I think that she's in like a rural town, but I don't know. They don't specifically say, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they do in a book adaptation somewhere that someone will point out, but not that I know of. Before we go to the live action, do you want to talk about? No, let's discuss the live action, and then after we get done with it, let's talk about which soundtrack is better.
Wait, there was something that you. Oh, that's what I was gonna look up.
Something about the music?
No, the Broadway versions, because I didn't know who the original one was, but I know that Christy Carlson Romano, who voices Kim Possible, and is in Cadet Kelly, and is my whole childhood Stevens. She also played Belle on Broadway, and just that whole thing is astonishing to me because I am obsessed with Christy Carlson Romano to this day. There was one time I was in an elevator in Chicago, and one of my friends from high
Don't
school.
say she was in there.
Huh? She wasn't.
Don't say she was in.
She basically
Okay.
was. I was in Chicago, and I was in an elevator, and my phone like wasn't working. I could only talk to people on speakerphone. And my friend from high school that I hadn't talked to in like years had called me like super duper randomly. So I answered like, hello. And I was already being rude because I was on speakerphone. And he goes, hey, I have someone you want to talk to. And just hands the phone over to Christy Carlson Romano. And so I'm like in an elevator in Chicago freaking out on speakerphone because I'm talking to Christy Carlson Romano. And to her it was probably like really weird because it can't be like, I loved you in
She was like,
even Stevens, Cadet Kelly. And
she was like,
what's
the sitch?
No, that's actually what she said. She was like, hey, what's the sitch? And I was like, no, I wanted to be like, no, ma'am, I know you for so much more. Much more.
She had a music career, did she not? Like, I think I listened to some of her music back then.
She had a song called Teacher's Pet that gets stuck in my head at least once a month.
So speaking of Broadway, really quick, do you know who originated Belle on Broadway?
No.
Susan Egan, which is the voice actress for Meg and Hercules. She originated Belle on Broadway.
She's also in Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, she like the Broadway soundtrack. She's the singer.
Wrong person.
Is that not her? Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, Susan Egan. She did. If you listen to the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack, it sounds like Meg from Hercules singing Belle's music, and it's really weird.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's everything I've got for the animated movie. Unless you've got anything to add to it.
I think all the stained glass in the animated movie is beautiful. I love the classic 2D animation drawing style of classic Disney movies. I believe Belle is one of the most fun characters to meet in Disney World because she has that whole aesthetic in Enchanted Tales with Belle. She's very interactive, even when you see her in her blue dress.
I'm gonna get on the Belle in the Park. Don't worry, I'm gonna get on that.
Is just inspires women to like stand up to men because that's essentially what she does.
I feel that
throughout the whole movie. She says no to Gaston. She literally just wants to sit in her room and read her book. She sticks up for her family, for her father. And even with the beast, like this huge scary beast who is trying to intimidate her, who is trying to threaten her, she will stand up to him and has her like, he's like huffing and puffing on her in that one scene when she first gets captured, and she's like standing her ground.
She was definitely one of the first, like, I mean, I guess Ariel kind of was too with her dad, and yeah, kind of. But she was like one of the first characters to be more like
than to.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not the same thing. But she was like one of the first, like they were like the beginning of like Disney princesses, not just being like, oh. Like they actually like Jasmine. Jasmine's the same way.
Lay here.
Yeah, exactly. Like let me just lay here and wait to be kissed. Like that was what it was before. They like reinvented that whole thing in the 90s, 80s/90s. I don't know. Before I know Ariel came before Belle, but then I don't know who came before that. I think it was like
No,
the
it
last one
was
before that.
is Snow White, Sleeping
Hmm.
Beauty, Cinderella, and then Ariel, because Ariel's pink dress is
That's
actually
what I
a
thought.
combination of all three of them. And then it's Belle and then Jasmine.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So we went. Cinderella came out in like the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So the princesses stopped there and didn't come back until 89 when
They
Little
started
Mermaid came
picking
out.
up like the Jungle Book and Robin Hood.
101 Dalmatians, Fox and the Hound, the stuff that's like good but not as popular. Um, so yeah, the live action came out in 2017, because I was graduating high school, and
I was
I
in college.
or it might have been 2016.
I was
I
wondering
graduated the class of 2017, so I think it came out.
someone about the casting.
Well, anyways, it was 16 or 17, and I was literally so excited. 17, it was like March 2017. Yeah, I was so excited for the movie to come out. Like I was counting down the days. I was very excited. I remember when the first picture of the Beast leaked, like the CGI, and it was awful. It was an awful because it leaked. It wasn't supposed to be out, and I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe they're making it look this bad. But it ended up looking really good. But I remember when it first came out, and I was like sick to my stomach. I was like, I can't believe they're gonna do this to my movie.
I remember now. Tell me your feelings after I say this. I remember not
Okay.
being excited about Emma Watson being Belle.
I had no prior opinion because I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter as a kid. So I had no history with her. I had only seen her in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so I had no opinion on her. I've watched Harry Potter since then, and I mean, I think she did a fine job in the movie.
So my whole thing with that was this was what I had argued with someone about. My whole thing was I prefer when movies do smaller names when it's a
I
big
feel that.
movie.
Mhm.
I understand that as Emma Watson, she took in many, many people into theaters to go watch it,
Mhm.
which I respect. It wasn't like I wasn't going to watch it because of her, but
Yeah.
I just wasn't excited because I was like, okay, she went from being one very, very iconic bookworm in the Harry Potter movies, being
Mhm.
second very, very iconic bookworm, just hopping
Yeah.
studios. But this is for a whole different generation. So it's a little different because the little kids that watched her as Belle didn't watch her growing up as Hermione Granger.
That's true. That's true.
But for me, I couldn't see her as anything except Hermione Granger in that because she still had like her
Well,
little.
that's like how people were mad that Idina Menzel was playing Elsa because they were like, you are famous for playing Elphaba in Wicked, and now you're going to play Elsa, which not only sounds the same, but it's going to have your exact same voice. It's going to be belting out really loud songs, and it's about someone who is in like a sisterhood with powers that doesn't understand her power. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone was like, we just hear the Wicked Witch. Yeah, I feel, but I also totally disagree with him, and I love her in both. I would like lay down my
I
life
think
for
that's
Idina
a little
Menzel.
different because in them, her face is kind of not there. In Alphabet,
That's
it's
fair.
there,
That's fair.
but she's green.
But
And as Elsa,
like,
it's a whole ass different character.
yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
But I remember
But also, I think that her voice is as like recognizable as someone's face. Her voice is very distinct.
I
Extremely.
remember telling someone because at the time, this was after the Cinderella live action movie with Lily James as Cinderella.
That was good
And
casting.
I loved it. And at that time, Lily James wasn't very popular in America. There wasn't
Yeah.
Downton Abbey yet, and then there wasn't the second Mamma Mia. So I remember talking to someone in the hallways of the communications building over at school, and he and I were arguing about Emma Watson being a good fit or not. And I said how I liked the fact how in Cinderella they took this person that wasn't that well known in America and literally turned her into a princess. Just like how in Cinderella, it is this girl that no one knows about gets turned into a princess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how I wish they had done that for Belle, kind of taken like someone who wasn't well known and turned her into an iconic princess in live action movies.
So I will say, I think they did that with Aurora in Maleficent by doing, I think her name's Elle Fanning. Yeah. And
Well,
she's not super famous. Hmm?
That's Dakota Fanning's little sister.
Yeah, and Dakota Fanning's famous for sure. But like, I mean, I know Elle Fanning has had movies, but I don't think that her face is like Emma Watson level recognizable. And
Yeah,
I actually
Emma
think
Watson was in a whole 8-movie series.
And I actually think that she was terrible casting for Aurora, if we're being honest. Like, terrible. Yeah, she does not strike me as that character at all. At all.
I mean, we can talk about that one later.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so speaking of the cast, Dan Stevens was the Beast, an amazing Beast. Speaking of, well, we'll talk about that in just a second. Ewan McGregor was Lumiere, who is also Obi-Wan Kenobi, my forever favorite Jedi. I love Ewan McGregor. Ian McKellen was Cogsworth. Emma Thompson was Mrs. Potts. Luke Evans was Gaston. Josh Gad was LeFou. That cast
Josh Gad is LeFou.
That cast is amazing. Amazing. And they got Celine Dion to come back and do a new song. What is it?
Everything but Emma Watson, I think, casting-wise, was amazing.
Okay, but I like Emma Watson. I will say that I do think that her acting was a little flat in it. I think that Belle in the animated movie is a lot more spunky. She's a lot more
Well, they also gave Emma Watson full control over her costumes in the movie, which is why they're a little more, I guess, industrial. Like,
I like the costumes. Especially, I love that yellow dress, and people are so on that yellow dress. I like it because there was no way they could have taken the one from animation and put it in live action and made it look that good. There's no way.
I've seen people do it on TikTok.
Yeah, but TikTok is different. Like if they did it in a movie, everyone would have forever been like, that wasn't as good. So the only way to go against it is to do something totally different.
You follow Designer Daddy on Instagram, shameless plug on him. It's this guy and his whole family, and he literally designs like dresses based off of Disney characters, and they're gorgeous. They sell for like thousands of dollars, and they are so spot on. They are so beautiful. They are like classic ball gowns. Like it's not a hoop skirt. Like there is tulle under that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you.
Yeah. Well, you're send me a link. But I just think there's no way they could have made it look as good in the live action. So they just did something different, and I think it looks really pretty.
Village outfit though.
And like, yeah, when it first came out, and it was like, what if she has something like tucked up, and it like doesn't fall all the way, like the white thing, it's like half tucked up or something like that.
She had like a little bag or something.
Yeah, and it looks a little off, but I don't know. I'm not going to complain about it. I think that it's really good. And then I think if we're going to talk about the rest of the cast, there is not a single bad person. Not a single. I don't know if I like how they did Maurice. They made him a little less kooky, which is okay. But everyone else is literally amazing. I think that movie is, aside from Aladdin, it's really close with Aladdin. Those are Disney's best live action remakes.
Really?
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. I cried in theaters for both of them.
So a group of friends and I decided to go see it in theaters like the night it came out. Like our diehard Disney fans, there were another Beauty and the Beast shirt instead of this one. And I remember this very specifically. My friends and I are in the theaters. We're sharing the McNuggets that we all snuck in. And it's the scene where they're showing Belle to her new room after they decided they can't keep her in the prison. They're showing her new room, and this can kind of segue into what we want to talk about next. As soon as she walks in, this instrumental version of Home starts playing from the Broadway production.
I know what you're talking about. Oh,
and
so good.
I'm like freaking out in theater because I'm like, this was whoever came up with this idea to put this song in this particular spot was brilliant because obviously,
So good.
I mean, they could have sang it in the movie, but they didn't.
And I think
So
they should have.
incorporated it in a way.
They should have sang it. I think if they would have taken out the Days in the Sun song, like cut that song out, we didn't really need that. Cut out Days in the Sun and give Belle another solo. Although, could Emma Watson sing it? That is the question.
Well,
Was she able to sing
I don't
that song?
know Emma Watson singing any of them.
Yeah, she sings Belle.
Does she?
Yeah, that's her.
Singing.
I mean, she's auto-tuned to death, but that's her.
Okay, well, then that doesn't count.
Yeah, but it is her. And I don't think that she could have done Home, to be fair. But what if they, I mean, they could have had like, I mean, there's no one else. They could have had Celine Dion sing it for the soundtrack instead of the new song that she sang. Okay, I didn't like that face that you made when I said Celine Dion.
I was just laughing.
Okay, so soundtracks then that we want to go into. Well, first, let me go back to live action real quick. My thoughts. The Beast is amazing CG. All the CG in that movie is amazing. I love the designs for Lumiere and Cogsworth. Amazing. Because they did a good job at making them like modern, but still very cartoony looking, which is what I liked. Although
I think the detail in Cogsworth was amazing with all the
amazing,
that
yeah,
he had in his arms, on his face.
Oh, and something else about the live action is they took a plot line from the Broadway show, which is that the longer that they are in under the spell, the more they become the objects. So like when they first got cursed, they would have been slowly turning into like a candle or a pot. And like now, since it's almost the end of the time of being cursed, they are becoming like stiff to where they can't move. I think that's really cool. The animated movie didn't do that, but they did it on Broadway. So like they did that for this.
Harder to comprehend in the movie.
And
also,
darker.
The Broadway version came out later.
Yeah, exactly. They like.
So that was probably a plot point that they added in the Broadway version.
Like even the castle is like slowly crumbling at the end because it's under the spell as well. But yeah, I love live action personally. Like if I was going to turn one on right now, I would turn on the live action over the animated. Not that I prefer it, but I would rather watch it. I would rather watch it. Does that make sense?
How do you feel about her dress at the end?
Beautiful. Oh, the end of that movie when Emma Watson sings Beauty and the Beast, and then like the whole chorus joins in. I sob every time. That is like, and it's happy tears. It is just like, it makes me so happy. I've always heard everyone describe that as like when Disney like barfs up fantasy, and that is literally barfing up fantasy. Like they are just like magic. That is like really pumped out on the screen right there. I love it.
I remember there was once I was home from college and I was like home by myself. Like I came in to visit my parents, and my parents were like, "Oh, we have plans, bye." And I like sat in the living room and watched Beauty and the Beast, and there were 4 different points where I had cried.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
live action
version. No, it was the animated version.
Oh, that too. That's
crying, and I was like, I don't know why I'm sobbing. Another fun fact. One time, this was in 10th grade. I was in Spanish class, and we were watching Beauty and the Beast in Spanish. And our class obviously wasn't long enough to watch the whole movie. So the next day when we were picking it back up, the teacher was like, "Hey, does anyone remember what part we were at?" And I was like, "Yes, Miss McCann, we were at the part where, whatever part we were." And everyone was like, "How the hell did you know that it was in Spanish?" And I just was like, "I've seen this movie too much."
I have no shame. Beauty and the Beast is the one I've watched the most of all Disney movies for sure. Because I mean, if we're not counting like Pixar, because if we are, then it's like Toy Story 2. I watched that like on repeat as a kid. But as a kid, Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin were the 2 that I wore out over and over and over again for sure. And then like the Pixar movies, but I've always loved Pixar. I think we should cut for a break, and then we will come back and talk about the soundtracks.
Hey guys, we took our pee break. We're back.
We're back. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the
We have to
soundtracks.
talk about what we wanted to talk about.
Let's talk about the soundtracks. We're going to do the Broadway, the live action, the animation. So I'll let you go first. What do you want?
So
What's
first
your
we're gonna
favorite
talk
out of all of
about
them?
what what songs like aren't in all three of these
Yeah.
versions of Beauty and the Beast, and in particularly like the Broadway version. The song Evermore is sung by the Beast. It is talking about how Belle is.
Well, in the Broadway version, he does If I Can't Love Her.
Oh, is that no? Evermore's in live action.
Evermore is a live action. Yeah.
I can't love her. I always get those two confused just because of how deep the.
They're basically the same song. They are the same song. Just they are the same message, different songs.
Done with me.
Yeah, exactly. I love both of the songs, and I was hoping they would just put that song in the live action movie, but they wrote that new one. The new one's good enough. I'm not mad at it. It's actually really good. I like it, but I would have preferred If I Can't Love Her.
So in the Broadway version, there's a song, If I Can't Love Her, and it's basically talking about
That notification sound. Click the thing off. The vibrate button on your phone.
No, it's from my laptop getting text messages.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So if I were to turn it off, I can't hear.
Okay, that's fine. Never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm surprised that's the first time you noticed it because I've been getting.
No, I have, but it happened 3 times, and I was like, I'm just gonna point it out now. That's okay. We can just leave that in as a job.
So in the Broadway version, there's 2 songs that I want to talk about in particularly that are not in the other 2 versions of Beauty and the Beast. There's a song called If I Can't Love Her, and it's just a really beautiful song, solo song from the Beast's perspective of Belle just being too good for him, and how if he doesn't get the chance to share his love for her with her, he might as well just die because like there's no point. Yeah, because he will die because the curse will be there.
He said, "Have you seen A Star Is Born?"
No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, never mind. That joke is really bad then, but sorry. Spoiler.
And then there's this other song that I absolutely adore. It's called Home, and Belle sings it when she first.
I feel like there's another one too.
Gets imprisoned. Well, these are the 2 that I want to talk about. When she first gets imprisoned by the Beast, once she takes her father's place. So she's like looking around, and she just kind of says these lyrics that say, all my life I've been told home is where the heart is. Never have I felt a place so cold. And
by the way, can we talk about, I don't know if you listen to as many soundtracks as me, but there are so many songs called Home. Have you ever noticed that? Like, I know like 10 different songs called Home.
Philip Phillips, American authors, name them. Like,
there's one from The Wiz, like that's my favorite one.
Sure,
there's the one from Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure they do. I can't think of them right off the top of my head, but I'm just like, I know too many songs named Home. Like, too many. I think there's one from like an Alice in Wonderland Broadway show that I have that is called Home. But yeah, my internet went out on my computer. But they have Human Again on Broadway, don't they? When We're Human Again. Yeah, and that's technically cut from the animated movie.
It is.
Until they added it back like later on.
Yeah, they added it from the Vault editions.
Yeah, but see, I grew up with that song because I had the VHS, and it was always there for me.
Really?
But then I found out that it was technically not supposed to be there. Yeah. So technically, that's not. I was really hoping that song would be in the live action movie. I like that song a lot. It doesn't do anything for the plot, but it's a good song.
You're not wrong. It doesn't. It just reinstates the fact that they're a curse.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't really need to be there, but I want it. Let me see here. I had a list of the songs pulled up. I know in the live action they do Days in the Sun, which is like the song that Chip and Mrs. Potts and Cogsworth and Lumiere sing, and it's about the Beast's parents. Speaking of which, I mean, we'll talk about this at the end. This will be like one of our little final points, but we never learned his name. We don't know his name. He's just the prince.
Yeah, there was that whole thing where his name is like Adam.
I grew up thinking his name was Adam. I was in like the Disney online like
But
Instagram community
I
thing, and we always called him Adam. So
unless that is like confirmed by a Disney source, I don't
it's
care.
not.
There's
He
also a
looks
thing,
like an Adam.
where they have the prince from Snow White. His name is Ferdinand.
Ferdinand. He looks like a Ferdinand. That man is ugly. I
Okay,
mean, if
so
anyone named Ferdinand is listening to this, that is not a
that is not a
diss,
prince.
but he looks like a Ferdinand. I'm just gonna say that. With that swooped over cowlick hair, yeah, he looks like a Ferdinand.
I'm in
Um,
my dogs.
then they have Evermore, which is amazing. That's like their version of If I Can't Love Her. And they have one other one, Days in the Sun, Evermore. How Can a Moment Last Forever? That's the other one they have. And then Celine Dion sings that for the soundtrack, and Marie sings it. It's almost like their version of Home a little bit. So uh,
Sorry about my
none
dog.
of them are very important. It's fine. None of them are very important except for Evermore. I love Evermore.
Okay,
She said, point the camera at me and I'll run. But yeah, aside from that, I think that we should go through the songs and rank which version is our favorite. Like, if you were gonna play a version of this song, which one are you gonna play? I don't think I have any of the Broadway songs on my list, to be honest.
that's okay. So if I were to make a playlist of pure Beauty and the Beast songs,
Wait, you have to start with the prologue because you have to listen to the prologue. Like, everyone has to have that. Like the little once I don't know how they started, but you know what I'm talking about. I listened to that
I
when I
think
listened to the soundtrack. Oh wait, the live action also has that opera song in the beginning. They have like that whole little at
Matt
his ball.
thing.
Yeah, they have that too, which is really good. I listened to that one too, but that's in nothing else, so that doesn't count with this list.
That was
So
just
start
to
with the prologue.
add like fanciness to
Yeah, and it worked. I loved it. I
it.
ate that up.
I if I were to have a playlist of just Beauty and the Beast songs, I would have to have Belle from the animated movie because I go
Wait, go one at a time. Do Belle, the animated movie.
animated movie Belle because I go so hard on that. I say the
Yeah,
dialogue,
okay,
I
I
say
agree
every
with you.
single part. As soon as it starts, I'm like, ba, ba, da, da,
I
da,
agree. I agree.
da.
The live action one is just okay. You can hear her auto tune in that a
Mhm.
little bit, but I'm not mad at it. I still like it, but I definitely stick with the OG on that. Okay. Next song is Gaston. Which version? Which version we playing?
Animated.
I know mine. Mine's live action.
Really? That's a fair one.
Yeah, because in that live action they have that whole dance break like on the tables and
That's
all that
true.
music.
They do.
I love that stuff. Yeah. So
That's
that's
a
my
gay
favorite.
moment.
Oh my, we didn't even talk about that controversy.
You
To
don't need
be fair, that movie is a little preachy on the whole like it's okay to be different thing because they really push that, which is good. They
to
need
be
to.
fair, the actual actor of Gaston in the live action movie is gay.
Is gay, yeah. He's a whole gay person. So I mean it makes sense. But that was a thing back then.
And
I
then
remember that.
next on my playlist would be the mob songs, specifically from the Broadway version. Just because when I listen to it, I think the choreography is very, very, very cool for that.
Okay, the mob song for me is the live action for sure because I think literally yesterday I sent you a video of me singing that song. That version is really good, and they add in a line. I don't know if it's in the Broadway version, but they're all like whispering, and they say, "We don't like what we don't understand. In fact, it scares us." And I'm just like, that line is really good. It should have been in the animated movie originally,
Well, they
but that part's really good.
really passed with that stuff in 1991, you know?
Listen, they did some deep stuff back in the 90s. Like Hunchback is very, very they have a whole song called Hellfire. Like they really went there when they wanted to. Yeah, it's amazing. Be Our Guest. What version we playing? Animated. Ewan McGregor does an amazing job, but that animated version, untouched. Iconic. Something There.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Something There. Which version?
That one I still think you can hear Emma's autotune, so I'm gonna have to go animated.
Yeah, I go animated too. It's not that I don't. I listen to both. I
But
straight up will listen to them back to back.
I could just keep picking like animated purely because that's the version I grew up with. Therefore, I think that that is the OG original version, which in a sense
Yeah.
it is. But that is the version that I'm
Hmm.
most comfortable with. Therefore, that is the version that I like the best, somewhat. You know?
I feel that. Well, I mean, there's some songs I liked better in the live action, but like Beauty and the Beast, the song, which version are you picking?
I'm not familiar enough with the soundtrack of the live action version in order
So
to
animated.
so animated.
Yeah, I mean, Emma Thompson does it in live action, and it's really good. It's not bad at all. But
Because Emma Thompson's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, but Angela Lansbury, I mean, like, they're just not gonna do better. You're really not. She kills that song. That's why it won the Oscar. Like,
You
she won
wait,
for a reason. Yeah. And then the
I'm gonna
finale,
look and
like
see if the OG or the live action was nominated for anything.
yeah, it was nominated. I don't think it won. It came out the same year as, if I'm not mistaken, Moana.
Disney really
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Moana won. I think that was the same year. Because Moana won for How Far I'll Go, I think. I think. If I'm right on that, I'm gonna be so proud of myself.
I won't be too. It was nominated for 2 Oscars and Best Achievement in Costume Design, which I agree with
100%. It should have won if it didn't.
for certain of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm still not a fan of Belle's dress.
Anyways, moving on.
And Best Achievement in Production Design.
Hmm.
Which
It had no song nominations?
no.
Really?
Well, that
I did
could
not
be
know that.
because
Well, it's because they had no original songs.
yeah.
But they did. They had Evermore, which should have been nominated. They had Days in the Sun. They had How Can It Last Forever. Look up what year that was and see if Moana won though, because I'm just curious.
It came out in 2017, whereas Moana came out in 2016.
Okay, well, close.
They're a year
Because she came out in like November. Well, she came out in like November, and Beauty and the Beast was like March, so it was like technically like right there. It was really close. Um, I think that's all the songs on the soundtracks.
That's all.
So the last thing I want to go into then is the sequels, which you haven't seen either of them,
Not since I was
right?
like 8. I'm an OG.
Okay, well, let me do a super quick run through. And they have Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Christmas, which personally I really like. It I am a sucker for Christmas movies anyways. But the problem with this is that it takes place while the beast is still a beast and Bella's at the castle. So it's supposed to take place in the middle of the movie. And we're just supposed to pretend that all of this stuff we just didn't see all this in the movie. And it's just like,
Pause the
okay.
middle of the movie.
Yeah, pause while it's snowing.
I mean,
and now it's Christmas.
going back to Disney World, like for instance, that's why Rapunzel's hair isn't short and brown because you're meeting these characters in the middle of their movie.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but like they tell a whole story with like a villain, and like he wants to like take the characters down and stuff, and it's just like, okay, you feel like you would have pointed that out in the movie. The villain is Tim Curry, by the way. Do you know who Tim Curry is?
Of course, it's Tim Curry.
God, he's so good. He plays like a giant organ, like piano organ.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know the thing.
Yeah, and he's amazing in it. And they have As Long as There's Christmas, but you don't know this song somehow. Here's what you need to do when we get off of here. As Long as There's Christmas and Stories. Paige O'Hara sings both of them as Belle, and they're so good. As Long as There's Christmas is in my Christmas playlist. It's on Spotify because like a Disney Princess Christmas album, and I have that. I have it downloaded. I keep that. But yeah, it's just really good because you get to see the characters in like a Christmas setting in the castle. And if you love Christmas, Beauty and the Beast, it's like their only Christmas movie, animated movie, I think. Yeah, aside from Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh,
Nightmare.
because they have. Well, let's be clear. Disney did not want that movie, and then when it became really popular, they were like, "Oh yeah, we really love that movie." They kind of are shady for that one, but Yeah, they were just like, it's too dark. That's not for us. And then it became really popular, and they were like, actually, you know what? We love that movie. And then they did Belle's Magical World, which was technically supposed to be, you know how back then Disney did like the Aladdin series and the Tarzan series and the Hercules series? They were going to do a Beauty and the Beast series. And they did like 3 or 4 episodes, and the series was like, not, no one picked it up. Or I guess Disney was just like, we don't want to move forward with this. So they cut it into a movie, and I haven't seen this movie in years, but basically it is terrible animation. Terrible. Like Belle's eyes go like cross-eyed sometimes. It's just awful. Because they outsourced this. This was like made in Japan or something. Um, but it literally just like Belle is sitting there and she's like telling these stories, and then it will cut and give you like a little 20-minute story, and you can tell it's supposed to be an episode of a TV show. And then it cuts back to Belle and she's like, and that was that story.
So I have this on VHS because I remember watching it when I was younger.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think we all probably did, but it obviously didn't leave an impact on any of us because we don't remember it. I don't remember it that well. I just know it exists. And that's it on that one. I mean, the show got canceled. The animation's bad. I think Paige O'Hara did all of them though. But there was that one show that we talked about where it was like a live action Belle, and she was like in a library, and that did run. It was on Playhouse Disney, I think.
Okay.
You never saw it?
Mm-mm.
As a kid, I mean, as much as I had like a huge crush on Belle, like I said, so I loved it. And she would be telling stories like puppet characters. There was like a puppet cat and a puppet book and all this stuff. And the stories she told were usually like old Disney cartoons, like shorts. Like I know specifically they had the tortoise and the hare short, and she was like telling that story, and they would run the short. Um, that might be why they didn't do the animated show, to be fair. And they would package them as like Disney Princess VHS tapes, and you would get like Belle introducing like Disney Princess stories. I don't know. And then there was like the whole Disney Princess movie set when it was just like the princesses doing stuff. Did you watch those?
I guess not.
Disney pumped out a lot of really bad content back then.
I once I was my like younger days when I was like 3 or 4. I was a very, very big Cartoon Network gal.
Not me.
I didn't get like super duper big into Disney. Like I always watched Disney, but I didn't get super into it
Mhm.
until honestly like I realized like it was a thing to get into, and I was just trying to find
Yeah,
my
same.
thing in middle school,
Same.
and I guess that one just kind of stuck.
I had a phase where I loved Disney as a kid. Like loved it. And then I had a phase where I like grew out of it. I thought I did because that's like what I had to do as a boy. I was like, I can't like Disney anymore. And so I quit watching. I didn't see Princess and the Frog in theaters or Tangled. A bunch of those like Meet the Robinsons, a bunch of that stuff I didn't go see. And then what got me back was Frozen. When I watched Frozen, I was like, oh, I am back on this train. Yeah.
I remember in art class all throughout high school, all of my themes for every single art project I did was some sort of a Disney movie was a theme for each one.
Kind of like this beautiful art project that I have that I'm about to put in the frame.
I love that. Let me see if I can find a photo of one of mine because I did a stained glass.
Oh, yeah. Find a picture. If you can find it,
Real fast.
send it to me, and I'll try to like put it on the screen here because like this will just be for people that are watching. Oh wait, I
Oh,
can't see it.
I wish it was like
Text it to me, and I will put it on the actual video right there.
okay.
I'll cover your phone with it. But I think we've mostly covered the movies aside from our favorites, which I think my favorite is the
Oh, shoot. It's
oh, there you go. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. What is that on? Like actual glass?
that is colored pencil and poster board.
Oh wow. That looks really good. Yeah,
I mean,
I love it.
obviously, if you can still like do the thing where you, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you can see
She's
it
in
in
her.
here, which I can still put it.
She's in her little mirror.
The other is that on a door?
No, that the poster board was just had to get cut really thin.
Oh, okay, okay. It looks like it's on a door, like the door art that you
No,
used to do in school.
it's like a stained glass window. Like it's a drawing of a stained glass window.
It's a drawing of a window. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I guess the last thing with the movies is like, what's your favorite, the animated or the live action? I think for me, I really love both. But like I said, if I'm gonna turn one on right now, I'm gonna pick the live action. It really just depends on the day. I'm
I'm
having a
trying.
hard time.
Yeah. What row am I sitting in at a Broadway theater?
Okay, well, I mean, I guess yeah, I don't know the Broadway super well, to be honest. Oh, we totally missed the Gaston song. That's the song that I couldn't think of. What is it called?
Gaston.
Is it just called Gaston?
The mom.
No, 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 no. No, 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 the Broadway song. Shoot, what is it called? It's like dun 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 dun. Carly. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's me. Me. It's called Me,
Okay.
right? Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
My internet is being awful. I think it's called Me. Because if Aaron listens to this, shout out to Aaron Talbert. He played Gaston and he showed us the video of him singing that song, and that's what just made me think about it.
I
Yeah,
love
he played him.
him.
He played him on in like a local show. Um,
I love
insert video of Aaron. Oh my God, when I went to visit Aaron, this is like our Aaron section of this video. I hope he watches this. When I went to visit him at his house, there is a giant mural in his garage of someone who painted him as Gaston. And when I say giant, I mean like the size of this wall.
Oh my gosh, was it actually like used in the play to put over the mantle?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, it probably was. It probably was.
That would, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah, because why else would they do it? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But shout out to Aaron. Anyways. Yeah, so I prefer the. No, I'm not going to say I prefer the live action. It depends on the day. It depends on the day.
I'm gonna have to say the animated feature just so I can sit on my couch with a blanket.
I feel that. I feel that. Okay, so to wrap it up, let's like hit the parks super quick.
I mean, we've been kind of touching the parks a little bit.
Well, the number one thing I want to touch up is the Hong Kong ride that just opened. I forget what it's called, but holy cow,
beautiful. Hong Kong
amazing.
really like
They show us up as far as theme parks go.
they show us up as far as a nation.
Life. Yeah, as far as life. Because America is really struggling right now.
As far as being a human.
That ride is amazing, and I wish they would somehow extend Fantasyland for us to have that. Oh my God, speaking of which, here's a little insider tea. Working in Fantasyland, for those who don't know, I worked in Fantasyland, or worked in Circus, which is right down the road from the Beauty and the Beast Village. It doesn't have a name, I don't think. It's just
And for
Fantasyland.
those of you who don't know, every single time I went to Magic Kingdom while I was working in Disney World, I stopped to get a LeFou brew at Gaston's Tavern. Highly recommend.
Yes. So since we know how it works backstage, if they added a ride, it would destroy their system. There's no way they could do it because their system back there goes right behind all that stuff. And then it's like water in the parking lot. So there's no way to add a ride unless they take out Gaston's Tavern, which I don't know if, or get rid of Enchanted Stories with Belle somehow and work it there. I mean, I don't think that we need that anymore. But anyways, here's my little fun fact. This is Disney. If you're listening to this and you want to hire me back, don't listen to this part. But one time I was walking backstage. I was walking backstage. Do what?
You in particular, out of the whole 32,000 people.
Yeah, like if you want me back, just turn it off right now. I was walking backstage and I was walking behind Be Our Guest, which Be Our Guest, we should talk about that because that's amazing. Be Our Guest is literally amazing in there. They have the gray stuff, which is delicious. Uh,
Ask the dishes if you don't believe them.
I did ask them, and they also agreed with me. So, anyways, I was walking. I was walking behind, like the Be Our Guest area. And in case you don't know, that's the only place you can meet the Beast, like in the parks. Like you have to get a dinner reservation there, and you have to meet him there in the evening. And I have never met the Beast. He is one of my favorite characters of all time, and I've never met him. And I was walking back there, and sure enough, around the corner, I don't know where I was going. I was going to the lunchroom. What's it called? Mickey's something.
I didn't work in Magic Kingdom, so I don't know.
Oh yeah. I forget what it was called. But I was going to the lunchroom, and here comes two cast members and the Beast walking around the corner, and I was like starstruck. I was like, and I have to act cool because I'm in my circus outfit, like I work here.
Yeah, you have to have cool when you're just like.
I was just like, what's up? Anyways, they walk by me, and I was just like, oh my god, I just met the Beast. Like I need to call my mom. And as I'm walking around the corner, I hear the Beast talk through his. I hear the friend of the Beast talk, and he was like, "It's so effing hot in here." And I was just like, I wish I didn't hear you say that because that really hurt me. That really hurt me deep down.
Just why they don't say it on stage.
Exactly. And then he went out on stage and he was a beautiful friend of the Beast. But that's my little backside of the park story. But yeah, I wish they would add that right there somewhere, but I just don't know that they can. They don't. It's like there's no space.
They cannot.
Yeah, unless we do away with like the Pinocchio restaurant or something, which I would be totally okay with.
They wouldn't because
like that little area.
Because that's a quick service. It's one of the only.
Okay, but who likes it? Okay,
there's
you and what army?
There's a very, very pretty, like picturesque spot that a lot of people don't know about. That my friends and I, we would go get lunch there, and there's a second story. And you would go to the second story, and literally it's just this beautiful view of the castle and the carousel.
And you know what else would be a beautiful photo spot?
Overlooks It's a Small World.
Okay. That's the only fair point to keep it. But also, you're not overlooking It's a Small World. You're overlooking the line for It's a Small World. And then people going in and out. That's it. So, like, technically, and plus, as long as It's a Small World lasts, you can be sitting there and eat your whole meal and you would never see the same family go all the way around because that ride is so long. We're getting off topic for sure. The last Beauty and the Beast thing in the parks is the show in Hollywood Studios. What do you think?
They haven't changed it since it has opened. They haven't changed the costumes. They haven't changed choreography. They haven't changed the lines. They haven't changed anything about it.
Okay, the costumes. Let's talk about Belle's dress in that because that is the worst Belle dress to ever exist.
Like I
said,
said,
is a piece of cardboard.
Since it came out.
Yeah, that is a piece of cardboard. They have changed the Beast costume. He has changed. He was a lot scarier before. Now he's like nicer looking. So they did do that. And they also appear in the parade. Yeah, I mean that's something. And then I used to know a guy who was Gaston in that show. He was friends with Gaston in that show. Well, no, it's a show, so he was Gaston. And I actually saw him in the show once. I didn't know him, but like I knew him through Instagram. That's how I know a lot of my Disney friends. And he posted about the show all the time. So I feel like I've seen a lot from that show by him posting like behind the scenes pictures and stuff. But I like that show personally. If it did away with it, I'd be mad.
I mean, it's just like a little 20-minute version of the movie.
Yeah, it's good though. I enjoy it. Like when I go to Hollywood Studios, if me and Jordan go to Hollywood Studios, like when we go to Disney in a couple months, he's going to watch that show. That and Fantasmic.
Nice.
For sure. But I don't think we have anything else Beauty and the Beast to talk about, unless you have anything else to say.
I do not. I think this has kind of gone long enough.
Okay. So I think that we went on long enough. I have nothing else to add. I'm sure I'll think about more to add once we hang up. Oh,
we'll always think about more to add once
the only thing I have to add is the books. Have you read any of the books? Like twisted fairy tale books.
I've only read the Evil Queen one.
There's a really good Beast one, and there's one that's like this theory that what if the Enchantress was Belle's mom, but that's a whole different thing. I'm gonna try to read it and
That's too much.
get
That's
into
too
that.
much for me.
No, it's really interesting because that's why Belle's such an outcast because her dad already had a reputation for bringing an outcast into the town. Anyways, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, next episode we will have a better theme. We're gonna try to cover like all kinds of topics. We're gonna do like rankings and more movies, and hopefully like movie reviews once like Cruella comes out and stuff like that. Um, yeah, you want to add any like closing statements? We've been on here for a long time. I feel like if anyone has stuck around, you are a true friend, as Hannah Montana said.
Be our guest in our next episode.
We will see you guys next time, and hopefully next time we have our crap together a little bit better than we do right now.
Well, thank you.
Next one's it's only gonna go up from here, only up,
Mm-hmm.
as Cardi B said. If it's up. All right, I gotta quit with the references. That's it.
Gotta quit with the pop culture references.
The pop culture references. We gotta stay in our Disney bubble.
We're talking discussions.
Discussions.
I hope
If you don't get
this
that.
discussion be our guest in our next episode.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Bye, guys.